One of the most iconic Louisiana-bred quarter horses, Jess Louisiana Blue, is the latest equine inductee into the 2023 class of the LQHBA Hall of Fame. Bred by Jumonville Farms in Ventress, Louisiana, out of the Louisiana Slew mare, the Louisiana Girl, was foaled in February of 1998.
Jess Louisiana Blue is a colt that God blessed us in a way we could keep him a colt, and he became a wonderful stallion for us. But his pedigree is unique in that back in the early 80s, we bought a thoroughbred by Seattle Slew. His name was Louisiana. We named him Louisiana Slew. Wayne Lucas had him for us, and he broke his maiden at Del Mar and then won a stake at Santa Anita and outran the favorite for the Kentucky Derby, and we thought we had a big horse, and he chipped. And they said his career was done, but we bred him to Little Blue Sheep, a two-time running champion quarter horse mare, and raised the Louisiana Girl. And Louisiana Girl, his first foal was Jess Louisiana Blue. And so I paid a lot of money for Louisiana Slew back then, and I saw a gentleman who sold him to me many years later, and I said, I'm gonna live long enough to get my money back, but it's gonna be with quarter horses and not thoroughbreds. And that's how Blue really came, and that's what makes his pedigree so unique in my opinion. There's a lot of sons of Jess Perry out there, don't get me wrong. Without Jess Perry, he wouldn't be what he is. But without that mare, he wouldn't be what he is either.
I remember when Blue was born, he was a rangy colt, big bone, remember that. The big thing I remember when he was a yearling, we turned our colts out with colts and the fillies with the fillies, and they make a turn and they come running back, and he had cut himself on his left fetlock and he was bleeding really bad. And my dad and I caught him, we bandaged him, and we said, we're gonna pray over this horse and hope he's there tomorrow morning, because it was really bad.
And we thought we'd never even have him at all. We thought we might have to put him down, but over many, many months, a year and a half, it took to heal all of that, and he competed even with that, and we were blessed to do it. But he couldn't come back to the finals of those fraternities he qualified for. Feature Mr. Jess and Jess Louisiana Blue were born hours apart on the same day, right here at the farm. And Feature was a classy, strutty, classy individual, and Blue was just a little brown horse. And Feature always would outclass him in appearance. But when we put him in training, and Rodney Reed had him, he said there's never been a day that Feature Mr. Jess could outrun Jess Louisiana Blue. He believed it from the day he started breezing him. He said he's a faster horse. When I delivered the horse to Rodney Reed, I told him the history about the injury. And we didn't think he would even, we started not to even send him, but he said, send him, we'll try. And so he did, and he was excited about him as a young horse, and he qualified for these various fraternities, but when he'd come back in the finals, he would run back. He just wouldn't perform to the same level he did in the trials. And then we eased into his Derby year. He qualified for several Derbies, and he would just run back. And finally, I just told Rodney, I'll try something else. And I went to get him in his 3-year-old year up at Rodney Reed's, and when I got him on the trailer, the groom came out and told me, he said, Mr. Jumonville, this is the fastest horse in our barn. But that injury has kept him from coming back.
With a change of scenery in mind, J.E. Jumonville brought the horse down to his home state in Louisiana and put him in the barn of champion trainer Kenny Roberts.
And I brought him down here and then gave him to Kenny Roberts, and he brought him along, and when we entered these stakes that didn't have trials, these overnight stake races, we did well. After Kenny had given him 2 races and overnight races, and he won impressively, I looked into the challenge, and he was not challenge eligible, and you had to pay a $20,000 penalty to get him in. And I went to Kenny and I said, what do you think about this? He said, that's a lot of money. I said, well, let me ask you this. Do you believe in the horse? He said, I do. I said, well, I believe in you, and I'm gonna make the payment. And we didn't know at the time, Taylor Fitt was not entered. He was a time of entry, late payment. And Kenny said, oh my goodness, Taylor Fitt was the reigning world champion.
And there they go, and it was a perfect start for all runners. Taylor Fitt right there, but Jess Louisiana Blue gets the jump on him, and it's Jess Louisiana Blue just in front. The champ Taylor Fitt is going to have to dig in, and he responds. Here's Taylor Fitt going up to Jess Louisiana Blue. Mr. Barcode comes on into third. Taylor Fitt, he's not home yet. Jess Louisiana Blue, they're stride for stride, and Jess Louisiana Blue gets ahead in front.
When Blue outran the world champion, we always knew that we had a nice horse, but the beat that caliber, looked like we knew that we were going to have a great horse. And we were very, very excited. The farm was excited, the family was excited. It was something that it needed to happen. And it was just a wonderful feeling.
And after the race, probably the biggest compliment I've ever received from Blue was from Janet Van Bibber. She was training Taylor Fit then. And she came to me, she said, "You really ought to be proud of your horse." I said, "I really am." She said, "No, I mean really proud." I said, "Why?" She said, "Taylor Fit has never been outrun once he was on the lead. And Taylor Fit went to the lead and we passed him and outran him." And she said it never had happened to him before. And that was probably the biggest compliment she could have given me and that horse.
Taylor Fit he was the man. And when Blue crossed the finish line first, it sent us into shock. It was like, oh dear God, what just happened? And from that point on, it just went from one amazing miracle blessing to another, to the point when he was declared champion. That was just amazing.
Anybody tells you that they know a horse is going to be a sire either hadn't been in the business long enough or they're lying to themselves, because nobody knows if they're going to make it. But we were going through some tough times, but we loved the business, and he had all the pedigree in the world. I mean, uniquely bred. He ran well. He was an age champion stallion. We had to give him a chance, and then he didn't want to help us initially. He had very low libido off the racetrack, and we didn't have much success getting mares in foal to him the first year. And then we changed some things and changed farms, and he went on and started breeding. And people thought because his first year that his semen was bad. His semen was never bad. His libido was low. But once they realized he could breed, then he started producing, and it went from there.
At his height of his stud career, we were very busy with him. It was exciting. We would have 8 to 12 to 15 people call, and we had a stud that could handle it. And it was fun, and we enjoyed it. And God blessed us with an animal that was a great stud, but also a perfect gentleman.
Johnny T.L. Jones made this statement to me. He said, "Jay, you cannot make a stallion, but you can help him be one. You've got to get the mares to him. He can't do it without mares." And the people believed in the horse enough to send us mares, and we get a lot of credit for what we've done, but truthfully, credit needs to go to the mares that had enough faith in our horse to breed to him.
In his sire career, the top runners produced by Jess Louisiana Blue include the Grade 1 Lee Berwick and Grade 2 Lassie Futurity winning Jess Louisiana Zoom. Then there was the 3-time Grade 1 winner and the eventual stud himself who stood in Oklahoma and then in Brazil, Louisiana Senator. And the multiple graded stakes winning daughter of Jess Louisiana Blue, Life in the Fast Lanes. And then there was the horse that J.E. credits strongly for driving the multitudes to come breed to Jess Louisiana Blue, the winner of the 2015 $1 million restricted Grade 1 LQHBA Breeders' Futurity, Jessa Saint.
All you have to do is win that $1 million race and you get a lot of mares, and it was very busy. But we were not set up to handle the number of mares that would come to this horse, so we said ship semen only. Now we did take a few, but those were exceptions rather than the rule. And there's very few stallions been proven with ship semen only.
We bred, raised him. He became a part of our family, and he meant the world to this place.
Between Feature Mr. Jess and Jess Louisiana Blue, the lights have been on Jimville Farm for 20-something years. That's been, and it's a big loss to lose him.
And God blessed us with an animal that was a great stud, but also a perfect gentleman. He loved people, he loved being around his people. Was not an aggressive animal, and he put that in his babies. I just loved being around him. I walked through that barn for 22 years and told him good morning every time I passed by his stall.
I want to thank the entire Louisiana Quarter Horse Breeders Association, the committee that nominated the horse, and the rest that voted to have it happen. It's so humbling, and some people use the word proud. I'm not proud, I'm humbled by it. It's not a proud thing, it's just overwhelming to me and my family to be blessed like this, and I want to thank you.
Of course, we'll be remembered for feature because he was a dynamic individual, but he never raced in Louisiana. But Blue was a Louisiana boy, Jess Louisiana Blue.
God just continues to bless us. I think he does it to feel sorry for us because we just keep doing it and he keeps blessing us and we just keep doing it and he keeps blessing us. What can I say?
The 2023 inductee, Jess Louisiana Blue.